unlawful carrying a weapon, you're facing yet another year on a new case. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present. If you cannot afford one, one will be appointed to you.
On April 11th, officers observed a defendant traveling without a license plate displayed in the rear of the vehicle. They activated emergency lights and the defendant slowed to a stop. Observed the defendant made numerous furtive movements toward the front passenger floorboard and continued as the officer made the approach. As the vehicle finally came to a stop, the approached the vehicle and detected an odor of marijuana, collected the now defendant's information, confirmed the vehicle was not stolen, and obtained from making furtive movements. They observed a blue bag located in the front passenger seat that contained a black Taurus G2C semi-automatic 9mm pistol and a bag of marijuana, and due to the fact he's been charged with unlawful carrying a weapon.
You said something was stolen. What was stolen?
They were verifying that the vehicle was not stolen. They just saw there no license.
Got it. Mr. Henderson, do you have a license? If you want to see me sprout horns and a tail, drive again. I swear to God, you drive again, I'm going to have a contempt hearing. You'll be facing an additional 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you get in the car and drive. You will now sign this affidavit promising me you're not going to drive. I don't give a rat's behind what your excuse is. I don't care. If Jesus tells you to take the wheel, you drive, you will be doing a substantial amount of time in jail. As it stands now, I'm revoking your bond. I'm putting you in jail for picking up a new case.
Your Honor, if I may.
Sure.
The new UCW shows a personal bond. You're revoking the previous case, but
He got a PR bond on the new case too? Ixnay on the PR bond A. I will give you a lawyer today and we will talk, but I'm telling you now, your bonds are going sky high, Mr. Henderson. Please have him come swear to this and then we goes him back. Hey, Marcos, you ready?
Yes.
Come on.
I think I have time for that. This is Loa, L-O-A.
Buenos días, ¿qué tal? Párese aquí en el centro, por favor. Me llamo Luis, el intérprete, mucho gusto. Solo mire,
You-
sí le contesté en español.
Jose Loa.
¿Loa?
Mr. Loa, you
Sí,
were
señor.
charged with
Señor.
Sí, señor.
You're charged with driving while intoxicated. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We are going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you, sir. Please don't say anything.
Por favor, no diga nada.
on April
El
13th,
13 de abril,
there was a traffic stop due to a running red light.
un semáforo de luz en rojo que se pasó.
The defendant was found to have slurred speech and red eyes.
Los ojos enrojecidos.
Officers
El
found
oficial encontraron
one bottle
una
and
botella
2
y
cans
dos
of beer.
latas de cerveza.
He admitted to
Él
drinking
había consumido
6 at the bar with his
en el
friend.
bar con sus amigos.
He scored a 6 on the
Él sacó
HGM
6 en el extremo horizontal,
6 on the walk and
6
turn.
pistas en el camino giro,
and 2 on the one leg
2 pistas
stand.
en el tablero de pierna.
He consented to
Él
breath and blew a
dijo que
.08
.08
twice.
dos veces.
So did they charge the open container? Did they say that it was cold to the touch? Anything like this?
They stated
Ellos
that
declararon que
2 of the cans were empty. I'm not sure about the bottle.
no sé, estoy seguro de la
The
botella.
information doesn't charge it. I'll amend it now, Judge.
No,
Mr. Loa, I would hope that it's elementary that you're not supposed to consume alcohol while you are driving.
automóvil manejando.
That in and of itself is a minimum of 5 days in jail.
Días de
And
cárcel.
if you are not in this country with permission, you go to jail for that time. I will guarantee you
Le voy a garantizar
that
a usted
immigration will put a detainer on you. You will be stuck like Chuck in jail for the next year, waiting for immigration to do what they do to you.
hagan lo que van a hacer con usted.
Play it smart while you are in the free world, because if you don't,
Mientras está
I will
libre,
take the free world away from you.
el mundo libre a usted, señor.
Play it smart while you are in the free world, because if you don't,
Mientras está
I will
libre,
take the free world away from you.
el mundo libre a usted, Señor.
Play it smart while you are in the free world, because if you don't,
Mientras está
I will
libre,
take the free world away from you.
el mundo libre a usted, Señor.
You understand?
Yo. Sí, Señor. Yes, sir.
I'm warning you not to consume
No
alcohol,
consuma alcohol.
illegal drugs,
Es ilegal.
or unprescribed controlled medication. I'm going to randomly test you.
Vamos al azar.
Do you have a Texas driver license?
No, sir.
You will now sign this promise to me that you're not going to drive. I don't care what your excuse is. If you drive, I will have a contempt hearing. You will be facing an additional 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you get in a car and drive.
Cada vez que usted se monta
You
en un auto,
understand?
¿entendió? Sí, señor. Yes, sir.
I'm absolutely serious. This is the only warning you're going to get from me. Take it well.
¿Verdad?
If you don't,
Si no la tomas,
you're going to be stuck in jail for an extremely long time.
la cárcel puede estar por bastante tiempo.
Your Honor, I'm sorry, I didn't catch it earlier. Did you impose an interlock on this case, Judge?
Is it a first?
It is, Judge,
Yes,
it's a
it is,
point
Judge.
oh eight.
No prior DWIs?
No, Your Honor.
Casos de mano.
Then I'm not going to.
Yes.
I'm assuming you want me to.
Of course he does, Judge.
Yes.
The state of Texas wants me to put an interlock on you, a device where you would take with you everywhere you go to prove to me you're not consuming alcohol. I'm going to trust that you're not going to consume alcohol now, Mr. Loa. But if I find that you do, the first thing I will do, I'll put you in jail. The next thing, I will put a monitor on you at all times. I'm going to trust you now.
Eran ustedes
Do you
de
understand?
automatido. Sí, señor. Yes, sir.
You have a lawyer.
No,
Good
abogado.
job on having a lawyer so
No
quick.
tener abogado tan rápido.
Because you have one, I will waive your appearance. You don't have to waste your time coming to court, but you must stay in touch with Mr. Adroga and he'll tell you if and when you have to come back to court. If he tells me that he can't get a hold of you because you're playing games and not responding to his phone calls or text messages, I will issue a warrant for your arrest. You will not get any more PR bonds.
Sí, tengo una fianza personal de parte mía.
For now, we'll have you go swear to us that you're not going to drive, then you'll get to go sign a reset. After that, you'll meet with Jeremiah for your bond conditions, then you're free to go.
Thank you, Judge.
Page 8, Lopez Christopher, come on up.
Yes,
Can you tell what conditions of Flores?
there was no going back to that,
Eyeglass.
yeah, that,
Yes, Judge.
no new cases.
Lopez.
Are you Christopher Lopez? Mr. Lopez, you're now charged with reckless driving. You're facing up to 30 days in jail and or a $500 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you, sir. You have the right to have an attorney present during questions and interviews with the state of Texas. If you cannot afford a lawyer will be appointed to represent you, sir.
On April 11th, officers are conducting surveillance of a public parking lot located in Harris County. An account on Instagram promoted a parking lot takeover. Officers observed 60 to 70 vehicles in the parking lot, creating a pit in the center of the parking lot. A bright yellow Corvette was in the pit doing donuts, multiple donuts in the pit, and observed the yellow Corvette attempting to leave. They followed and conducted a traffic stop where it revealed the now defendant's driver and that he was previously arrested on October 8th, 2023 for racing in the same vehicle. Trying to figure it out.
You don't get it. So in this one here, he's doing donuts. What's he doing?
Yes, Judge, video, rear end suspect counterclockwise circle pattern, slide 363 causing smoke to emanate from the rear tires, second donut, more smoke. Within 10 to 15 feet of other vehicles that were occupied, and they were collision between this vehicle and other vehicles, and they were occupied.
Mr. Lopez, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with your case. I know that I've already warned you that the legislature has made it extremely easy for the DA's office to seize that Corvette from you. If you continue to pick up these cases, it's going to happen. This is now your second case like this. I'm now taking away your privilege to drive. You are not allowed to drive whatsoever for any reason. Do you understand? Yes or no? If I find that you drive, I will have a contempt hearing. You'll be facing 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you drive. You will sign an affidavit before you leave today. You understand? If you drove here, you may not drive home. I don't care what your excuse is. You drive, you'll be doing a substantial amount of time in jail now. We're going to reset your case to give you time to hire a lawyer. So I'm going to have you sign this. You'll get to Victoria where we're going to have you sign a reset. And then I'm going to have you take a seat in the jury box while I get your bond conditions. Do you mind also filing no reckless driving, donuts, street takeovers? Come on.
Judge, 1718 Walker.
Raise your right hand. You swear that you're not driving a motor vehicle with the court approval?
Yes.
Okay, you can go continue it. Go ahead and sign it.
Are you Taryn Walker?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Walker, you're charged with 2 counts of possession of, one count of possession of marijuana. The other one is possession of a controlled substance. On the weed case, you're facing up to 6 months in jail. On your other case, on the pill case, you're facing up to a year in jail and or a $4,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present during questions and interviews with the state of Texas. If you can afford one will be appointed to you, sir.
April 11th, officer observed vehicle with a defective brake light, and upon a traffic stop, made contact with the now defendant who's operated the vehicle. Noticed a strong odor of marijuana coming from the vehicle. When asked the defendant when he last smoked, he said earlier in the day. When the officer asked the defendant if he was still in possession of marijuana, the defendant began reaching for the marijuana. Asked the defendant to step out of the vehicle and detained him. A probable cause search found a prescription bottle inside of a backpack with approximately 15 grams of Xanax and another bag containing 2.82 ounces of marijuana. The backpack was on the center seat of the back.
Okay. Mr. Walker, I'm going to find that there's probable cause to go forward with the case. Do you have a valid Texas driver license, sir?
Yes, sir.
Can you run his license, please?
Yes, Judge.
Do you have valid liability insurance in your name?
No, sir.
Then you're not allowed to drive.
Yes, sir.
Until you have liability insurance in your name, you're not to drive. And I'm going to have you sign an affidavit promising me that you're not going to drive. If you drive, you'll be going to jail for a long time. Do you understand?
Yes, sir.
How old are you?
Okay, I'm 26.
26.
Sir.
What do you do in life, sir?
I do Uber Eats and Lyft,
Uber?
sir.
What?
Yes, sir.
Do you think that Uber is going to employ you without insurance?
No, sir.
Right. Not a smart move. Don't do it because you're going to get in a lot of trouble.
That you're eligible, Judge.
I have people that come in here, they get into an accident and create $30,000 to $40,000 worth of damage in an automobile accident. They're called accidents because that's what they are. They're not on purpose. It's just something happens, even if it's not your fault. Some force comes in and causes you to wreck, like Bambi runs across you. They will come after you personally, get a judgment against you, and take everything you own. That's why you have liability insurance where you pay $20 a month to protect you in the event that that happens.
Yes, sir.
Do not drive.
Yes, sir.
Melissa, I filed the other bond conditions and the motion to amend the information on the.
Okay. For now, I'm going to give you a lawyer so that you can talk to someone about this. If you can prove to me that you can get liability insurance in your name, we can talk about you driving. But until that point, there's no driving whatsoever.
Yes,
I
sir.
don't care what your excuse is.
Yes, sir.
You understand?
Yes, sir.
All right. I'll have you come up here, swear to us that you're not going to drive. I'm going to have you sign a reset with Victoria, and then I'm going to have you take a seat in the jury box while I find your lawyer,
Thank you, sir.
please. Your case is 1,258 days old. You have been given PR bond after PR bond after PR bond after PR bond. It ends today. You should not have been given another PR bond. Stewart, it is 223-3769, one of 3 cruelty to animal cases. I will have you going back, speak to your lawyer now. No more PR bonds. It ends today. She goes with you, please. Mr. Thomas, what time does court start? No. 8:30. Please be here on time. Mr. Thomas, you're charged with possession of marijuana. You're facing up to 6 months in jail and or a $2,000 fine. We're going to do probable cause. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can or will be used against you. You have the right to have an attorney present and questions and interviews with the state of Texas. If you cannot afford a lawyer will be appointed to represent you.
On April 12th, officer with the property manager of the signature stating several subjects appeared to be selling narcotics out of a room located at the business. The manager reported that various individuals were frequently entering and exiting the room and loitering outside the door. On arrival, a strong odor of marijuana was smelled from the parking lot, and the door was observed open. After further investigation in plain view were several bags containing a green leafy or marijuana. As the officer approached the room, he observed an unidentified male sitting in the driver's seat of the vehicle with clear baggies containing marijuana and approached the vehicle. Additionally, a strong odor of marijuana was emanating from the vehicle. The now defendant was a driver who was detained. As search yielded baggies containing 0.252 ounces of marijuana found in the driver's seat. This defendant is on bond for a state jail felony marijuana charge.
He's on bond for a felony weed case, and he just now picked up another weed case. Do we know what the felony court's going to do?
They filed a motion to revoke on April 15th, but they haven't had that hearing yet that I know of.
No, it's set for June 12th, but if they just filed it, I would imagine they're going to want
If they notify the court to set a hearing for the pretrial officer, I'm presuming they're getting the information from their CSO. But also note is that in this court, he had a prior dismissed marijuana charge on April 4th as well. So this would.
Mr. Thomas, do you have a Texas driver license? You are not allowed to drive. If I find that you drive, I will have a, look at me. If I find that you drive, I will have a contempt hearing. You'll be facing an additional 6 months in jail and a $500 fine every time you drive. Do you understand? You're signing an affidavit with me today promising me that you're not going to drive until you have a license and liability insurance. Do not drive. I'm now ordering you not to consume alcohol or illegal drugs. I'm going to randomly test you. And I'm telling you now, I'm going to test you in 30 days from today. You test positive for dope, for marijuana, I will put you in jail. And if you can't stop, I will put you in a rehab program in the jail that lasts for a minimum of 9 months if you respond well to treatment. You understand? So Jeremiah, 30 days from today, let's see. Yep. Mr. Thomas, you're going to get tested on that day. Do you know what happens if you test positive? What happens? Right. Not only that, but it's very possible now that they revoke your bond in your felony case as well, because you're on bond for a felony dope case. You just now picked up another one and they filed a motion to revoke. So get ready, because it's at some point they're going to revoke that felony bond and a new felony warrant will issue. I would be very careful and talk to your lawyer as soon as you can. I'm going to have you come up here, swear to us that you're not going to drive. I'll get you to Victoria. We're going to get you out of here to hire a lawyer. And then after that, we'll get you to Jeremiah for your bond conditions. Stop smoking weed. If you want to do that, go to California, Colorado. You can do it as much as you want there. You live in Texas. That way.